to go through the markets for today. We're going to see what opportunities are there in the markets.
Good morning, Dr. Remy.
Ouch. Good morning.
Would it be possible this morning for me to do this part?
Yes.
Practice?
Yes. In fact, that's the whole aim of this session. The reason why I didn't get people to produce before was after a couple of weeks of asking and no one presenting, I said, okay, let me just carry on with it.
Okay.
Let's see if I'll make you the co-host so you can practice.
So I will go just thus far, but when it comes to the platform, I'll give it back over to you.
Whichever, you can get started and let's see how far you
All
go.
right. Okay,
so
sure.
You can share your screen.
Morning, everyone. Trust that you're all doing well. So the currency pair that I will be trading today is the USCAD, US Canadian dollars. But before I begin trading today, there are two things that I will be checking. First, I will check the market watch. And then secondly, I will check the economic calendar. So
Okay.
I'll start with the market watch first. And so why the market watch? So the things that can cause the market to trend, I just clicked on it. It's just taken a little while to upload. That can cause the market to trend sideways is the uncertainty in the market. So as a trader, I just want to, it says this page is not responding. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
Okay. Let me just exit and I'll try again. So as a trader, I just want to have a general idea of what is going on in the market, just to see if there's anything major taking place. Usually if there is something major going on, it's usually at the top. And when we speak of major, we're talking about probably war, sanction impositions. Those are things that one may consider major. And for some reason, it's not coming up my website.
Well, you can go to the economic calendar anyway. Let's start with the economic calendar. Yeah.
All right, so then we're going to go to the economic calendar. Let's see, how do I get it off now? So it's uploading, here we go. So I know that I have 3 attempts at the market today. So this is the premise in which I start my trading with. So if I place my first attempt and I make money, I will stop trading for the day. If I do not, then I'll go into my second trade. If I place my second attempt and make money, I will stop trading for the day. If I do not, then I will go on to my third and final attempt. So it is with that knowledge that I'm going to ask myself, how do I use my attempts? So this is where the economic calendar comes in. It will help guide, and I think most importantly, will help inform my attempt decisions. It tells me when and what time to trade. So here we have the economic calendar. And the first thing I'm going to look at is the time zone. So I'm in Canada, so GMT -04. So I have the correct time zone. The next thing I'm going to do is to check and see if there are any public holidays in the countries of my currency pairs. So the US, Canada, there are no public holidays today, so I'm good for that. The date, April 7th. So today is April 7th. Oh, I missed this. I went ahead of myself. So the correct time zone, I'm here. And the market, the main market that I'm trading, as I stated, is the USCAD dollars. So what I'm looking for are reports of high in some cases, medium importance that would affect the currency pairs that I would be trading today, which is the US CAD dollars. So usually reports of high importance would be probably your GDP, your CPI, consumer price index, your interest rate, unemployment rate. Of course, there are others, but those are major ones to look out for. So as I look through, I just capping like right here, today's, I'm in 7 days. So today, just from the summary, I can see that there is one that's of high importance, 9 of medium, and 20 that's low. Oh, sorry. I went to yesterday, back to today. Sorry, my mistake there. So we're back to the 7th. So here we go. So I'm looking at US and CAD, Canadian. So right now there is medium. I'm not sure. I don't think this will really affect my decision today. So then we have here one that is of high importance. That's Canada, and that's the balance of trade. And you can just click on it. Once you click on it, oh no, don't do that. Work with me, technology. So the balance of trade, that's a report of high importance, and it will affect currency exchange rates. As supply and demand can lead to an appreciation or depreciation of currencies. So I will watch that. Then I have, sorry. Yes, so then I go down again. Let's see, I have a couple in the US. So Fed Evans speech, which I think probably wouldn't affect me that much, IBPMI. But here in the United States, we have the FOMC minutes, which I definitely will be looking at. So they pretty much, the FOMC, that's the Federal Open Market Committee, and pretty much they manage the nation's money supply in a nutshell. So I definitely will be, and that will definitely affect the market, the currencies. So I will pay attention to that. And those are the two high US and Canada. So right now, based on what I'm seeing, I will hold off right now and on trading, because I believe that the market will be trading sideways. So, well, there's a high probability that the market may trend sideways before the final report of importance. So I will wait until the last report is out before placing my trade.
That's at 2 p.m. your time.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so that's it.
Yep, well done. Well done. Yes. So I think, like you rightly said, it's good to practice, and maybe I will start reminding people again during the sessions on Tuesday and this Wednesday to give people an opportunity to to present. Okay, so well done, Marlene.
Thank you.
So yeah, like Marlene correctly said, you know, if you look at the economic calendar today, again, depending on your time zone, wherever you are, make sure you're checking the correct time zone, like Marlene did, because like she said, she's in GMT -4, and I'm in GMT +2. Like she correctly said, the last report of high importance today is the US Federal Open Market Committee minutes. from the USA. And that report from the US affects all financial markets. So it doesn't matter what currency pair you're trading, what stock market you're trading, what commodity you're trading, regardless of what market you're trading, that report will affect all markets. This is an extremely important report. It's just again, like Marlin did, if you're new to trading, you can click on the report to read about it so you can understand the significance of the report. But this is the minutes of the meeting that was held to decide the US interest rates. So when the US interest rates were announced, obviously the report would just come out that they've either held interest rates or they've increased interest rates or they've cut interest rates. But you don't know what was the decision behind those interest rate decisions. How many of the governors voted for or against it and all that. So obviously the minutes of that meeting that they held to decide the interest rates will give you an indication as to what they're thinking and what the future holds. So it's a very, very important report. So it's the minutes of that meeting that's coming out at 8 p.m. Rwandan time today. And like I said, that's of huge importance and that would affect all markets. So like Marlene correctly said, there's a high probability of all markets trending sideways prior to that report. So it doesn't matter what currency pair you're trading, like I said earlier, or what stock market or commodities you're trading, there's a high probability of all of them trending sideways. So it's best to just avoid trading the market till that time. Okay, in fact, interestingly, we have the same thing tomorrow. The same thing tomorrow. We have the European Monetary Policy Meetings accounts at 1:30. So that's another one. Obviously, this is more to do with currencies paired with the euro. So obviously, if you're trading just the USD Canadian dollar, then this won't bother you. You can more or less ignore this if you're trading the USD Canadian dollar. But if you're trading any currency paired with the euro, for example, the euro US dollar, that's another report of extreme importance due out tomorrow. So this will just affect currencies paired with the euro compared with today, where it's due out of the US, which will affect all markets. Yeah, and like she said, it's good to also check the Market Watch or whatever financial news website. There's so many financial news websites out there now, so you're spoiled for choice. But yes, the one I use is marketwatch.com. You want to check if there's anything causing that could potentially cause uncertainty in the markets. And really, usually tends to be, especially when it comes to trading currencies, it tends to be problems between countries. So, you know, if there's there's big problems with US and China with trade talks, or North Korea with their missile launches, or, you know, sanctions with Iran and US. So it tends to be big issues like that tends to create uncertainty in the market, which at the moment, there's nothing untoward creating uncertainty in the market, especially in relation to the currency market. And that's actually why, again, I like trading the currency market, because when it comes to the stock market, there's so much that affects the stock market on a daily basis. Not on a long-term basis, but on a daily basis. So if you're trading the stock market on a daily basis, there's so much information you need to keep an eye on, which is where trading gets a bad name, because people who trade stocks are always glued to the news, glued to their computers, because the stock market on a daily basis is very sensitive to so much information. But in the long run, if you're doing long term, it tends to even out in the long term. Okay, so let's look at the charts. So starting with the swing trading, I'll start with the Euro USD. I look at the daily time frame. I use the D1 daily time frame for swing trading, and I use the moving average 50 to enter and exit the market. So the market is currently trading down. So you can see I've got my pending buy order just above the moving average. So if the market breaks it, I would then enter a buy trade with 100 pips stop loss. So because it's a daily time frame, I have to adjust that every day, because obviously the moving average will be changing every day. So today the moving average is 1.1962. It was 1.1961 when I started this morning. So you can see I've adjusted it already to 1.1963, just 2 pips above the moving average with 100 pips stop loss. And that's all I have to do till tomorrow. If the market takes my order between now and tomorrow morning, that's fine. I'll be in a live trade. But if it hasn't taken it tomorrow morning, I will readjust my pending order to whatever to 2 pips above the moving average tomorrow, whatever it is tomorrow. So let's go to day trading. So we'll come down to the 5-minute time frame. So looking at the 5-minute time frame, you can see the Euro-US dollar trending sideways. You can see where it trended up yesterday and then started to trend sideways. This is just my live trade from yesterday. I got into a buy trade yesterday and left it to run to see if I get to my 60 pips profit limit today. So, but we can just ignore that because that's from yesterday. This one is just a stop loss from the swing trade. Okay, so looking at the chart, you can see it's trending sideways. And you can see this is currently the highest point of the sideways trend. That's the lowest point. I'll just quickly draw my lines. So the high there is, you're looking at the data window. The high there is 1.18894. I'll just round that up to 1.1890. 1890. I only want to see it in the 5-minute time frame. So that's the high and the low is there. Looking at the data window, that's 1.1863. 1863. And just see it in the 5-minute time frame. Okay. So that's the current sideways trend. Of course, I'm not placing any others now till just before the US FOMC minutes at 8 p.m. Rwandan time. So I'm just marking out the sideways trend, but not placing any orders, and I'll reassess just before that report. And let's do the same for the Canadian dollar, USDCAD. Again, starting with the daily time frame for the swing trading. You can see the USDCAD has been downtrending on the daily time frame. So same again, I just want my pending swing trade order to be 2 pips above the moving average, and I'll just adjust that every day till the market takes my pending order. So for the US CAD and the pound dollar, I use the moving average 100, just for those 2 markets. The rest I use the moving average 50. But for USD CAD and the pound dollar, I use the moving average 100. So the moving average 100 of the USD CAD today is 1.2677. So 2 pips above that is 2679, which I already have adjusted that this morning my time to 12679, 2 pips above that with 100 pips stop loss. And then again, check again tomorrow. So I'll drop down to the 5-minute time frame. And again, we can see the USD CAD has been going up in a haphazard fashion. You can see where it jumped up at that point. It's coming back down. So it's really has no direction. It's still more or less trending sideways. But again, that too, we'll just leave it alone and wait till just before the report at 8 p.m. Rwandan time and then decide what to do there. Okay, that's the plan for the day. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can either... Okay, hello, Portia. That was quick.
Hello. I know sometimes my internet plays up, so I thought let's just get in there quickly.
That was quick on the draw. Okay, all right. Right,
So
go ahead.
my question was, when you place your order today, is that going to cancel out yesterday's order, or do you still
No.
leave yesterday's order?
No, they're totally independent, so it won't cancel it out.
Okay, so both will be live.
Yes, if it becomes live, yes. For example, I'll place it now, but I'm going to delete it because it shouldn't be there. So let's just assume it's still trending sideways come the report later, and I place a sell order below the pivot point, which is 1848. So that'll be 1846. 1846. So sell stop. 1.1846, 1.1866, and then take profit with 1846 minus 60, but I can't do mental math, so I'll just do that for now. So if the market falls, takes that order and takes me into the trade, potentially, yes, I could have 2 live trades on the euro US dollar. They're completely independent. It won't disturb the other one. Yeah.
Ah. Yeah, that was my question.
Sorry?
That was my question. That's what I wanted to know.
Yes, and that's the beauty about the MT4 platform. So basically, I mean, if you see some traders, they could have 5, 6, 7 live trades on the same market going on at the same time.
Okay.
They're all independent of each other.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Pleasure. And actually, that's why I tend to leave my day trades to run overnight, to allow it, see if it will get to the 60 pips profit limit, because I know that won't affect other trades I place. But like I said, again, let me just remind everyone that, you only let your day trades run during the week, from Monday to Tuesday, or from Tuesday to Wednesday, or from Wednesday to Thursday, or from Thursday to Friday. But definitely on Friday, you should close all your day trades. Never let your day trade go over the weekend, because if you let your day trade go over the weekend, you could suffer from gaps in the market, which could, it could result in a huge loss of money. Interestingly, a while ago, we had a good opportunity where we saw a gap in the market. So again, if you go to the platform, go to the featured section at the top here, you can see the video recordings there. So if you click on see more, you can see, and I actually posted it in the featured section. I linked it there because you can see during that live trading session that day, we discussed this phenomenon of gaps in the market and the effects of trading. We discussed it because it happened over the weekend. During that time, there was a gap in the market. So it gave me an opportunity to show people what a gap in the market looks like and what it means and all that. So if you missed that session, do watch it. It's stay on the platform for you to watch it. That was quite a long session. So you can put it forward a bit because it was towards the end of the session. We discussed about gaps in the market. Which it's a good one for you to have a look at, watch if you want to know what gaps in the markets are, because as you know already with trading, it's a picture speaks 1,000 words. So it's very difficult to describe or explain some phenomenon in trading without you seeing an example, because once you see it, it makes sense. But yeah, without seeing it, it'll be difficult to explain to you clearly what I'm talking about, so to speak. So yeah, do watch that session. And like I say, when I discussed that, I was towards the end of the session. So you can put it forward, and you don't have to watch the whole thing. You can just put it forward a bit. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions, comments? So yes, like I said at the beginning, I think I will start doing that again. At the beginning of every session, we'll give someone an opportunity to present and tell us what to do for the day. We were doing it for a while, and because we stopped getting volunteers, I stopped asking, but I'll start asking again in the hope that we get more and more of you presenting, so that, because as you know, they say practice makes perfect. So the more you present, the more you teach others, the more you remember yourself. So it helps. What happens to the pivot point that is outside the sideways trend? Not sure what you mean, Ebenosum, but there are two concepts. Number one, you do not trade within a sideways trend. So whatever pivot point level is within a sideways trend, you wouldn't use it. And of course, again, using the pivot point strategy, you don't use R2 and S2 to trade. So you basically only use R1 pivot point and S1 to trade using the pivot point strategy. So for example, now R1 is outside the sideways trend, so you could potentially use it to trade, and the pivot point is outside the sideways trend, so you can use both of them to trade. Potentially, don't forget, we're waiting for the report later, so we can trade now. But if we, let's see if we can get a better example. You can see all the markets. Okay, let's just assume, for example, now the USDCAD is trending sideways. So let's just assume that's the sideways trend. And you can now see R1 now is within the sideways trend, so you cannot use R1 to trade. So even if the market starts to go back up, you cannot place a buy order over R1 because R1 is now within the sideways trend. And you can't use R2 to trade because it's, using the pivot point strategy, you can't use R2. So at this point in time, there are no buy opportunities on the USDCAD because R1 is within the sideways trend, R2, which is outside the sideways trend, but you can't use it. So I think that's the best way to explain that. It's again, is understanding how to use the pivot point strategy, and of course, remembering when not to trade. You want to avoid trading within a sideways trend, and of course, you want to avoid trading prior to reports of high importance, which is what we're doing now, or during public holidays and all that stuff. So yeah, that's the thing about trading, is you have to combine all these principles. Some of them are independent of each other, but you apply them together, but it's understanding what the principle is. So you're not trading within a sideways trend, that's a completely independent principle in itself. So once the market is trending sideways, you want to avoid trading within the sideways trend. So regardless of what strategy you're using, even if you're using Fibonacci, you're using a moving average, you're using Williams percentage R, whatever you're using, you don't want to be placing an order within a sideways trend. That is why the first thing you want to do when you're analyzing a chart is to determine the trend of the market, because that will then help you determine whether where you're going to place your trade, and make sure you place your trades in an appropriate place. I hope that sort of answers that question. Any other questions? Any other questions, comments before we go for lunch? Oh, brilliant, thanks. Okay. So as usual, the recording, once it's processed, will be posted on the platform. Like I said, if you missed that session where we discussed about gaps in the markets, do watch it catch up on that on the platform. Go to the featured section and you can see it there. Like I said, it's towards the end where we talked about gaps. And again, you'll be able to actually see what the gap in the market looks like. Okay. All right. Oh, pleasure, Marlene. Okay, so if there are no questions, I wish you all a good day. Enjoy your day, keep safe, and we'll catch up on the platform.